I'm having some issues with connections. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this fixed without disconnecting. Okay, I think it's working. Anyway, so I'm going to try to set this up. I did set up this weekend a function, or basically this playerstats.go, which is actually designed to allow me to manipulate, gather, get stats, whatever you want to get from whatever the source is, um, for both in-game stats and for my imported stats. Now, a lot of my imported stats are in one format, and my in-game stats will be a different, hopefully a simpler, more flat, easier to read stat setup. What I'm thinking the stats are going to be something simple like every player in the league has that, and they have a stat for everything. Everybody's got a stat for everything. That's really what it is. You're gonna have a skill for everything. There'll be stats for everything for every player, and this way, whatever happens, whatever your players do or have, and they will have defaults for things that they didn't earn. So kind of like a rookie will have certain things. Um, are all rookies created equally? No, we got to have something. That's what I'll probably do with rookies is I'll have a base. Everybody gets a base. And then based on defined potential, whatever that is, by whatever arbitrary means you have to define it by, they'll get a tweak to their base. Now, a base is like the bare minimum. It'd be like if a wide receiver decided to play defensive lineman. You know, it's like so far out of his skill set. It's just not his thing. He's got a base. Rookies are across the line, across the board, they get the base. But based on the potential logic, we'll calculate in whatever the potential logic is that would give them something else, and it'll recalculate, and then it'll give them a varying jump. So if everybody gets 10 across the board, a quarterback rookie might get a jump in skill at QB. If he was drafted at a certain position or what his particular position was in the league at the time, he'll get more. Now, it's easier to calculate based on your knowledge of the future, right? So if you build rookies off of 2009, you can go, oh, these guys had, he had a great career. So you can put him in. Or maybe he was a flunky that did nothing, so you can set his potential back and adjust. It's tricky when you start getting into rookies that are from like 2024, where they've only had one season. Or if you do happen to put in this year's rookies, either 2025, they've had nothing. You have nothing to build on. So that kind of makes things a little trickier. And it'll have to be something like, I'll have to figure out a way to implement, adjust, tweak what players can't do based on what they did. Because then you start having this merge of in-game performance versus out of game potential. In other words, things defined by their previous history of being in the NFL. And now you're in game, you're building up performance, which may or may not be great because of your lack of performance or potential. But maybe as the years and career go on, you start having these players have a higher potential ranking, so maybe that adjusts. Hey, I haven't seen one of those in a while, man. That's crazy. What time is it? It's 22 minutes. I got to get this formula done. Let's see if I can do that without getting too terribly distracted. I got to turn on my music. I'm going to try to do 1 hour segments today, so I'll see if I can not talk my way through it. music. So I was actually going to try listening to, I don't know if this will get me banned. Not banned, but blacked out or whatever you want to call it. There is, what was the one I was listening to? I was listening to, can't find it. I was listening to, dang it. Guess it wasn't on this channel. I must have been listening to it on a different channel. Let me go see if I can switch to my other channel here. Oh yeah, here it is. These medieval music. I was gonna see if I can let's switch back to my. Now hopefully this is okay. There's a good chance it's not though. Kind of interesting. Medieval melodies. Kind of has that fantasy sound, right? And it fits my theme of my game. Now, I would love to figure out how to get, I still don't have any idea what kind of sound effects my game's going to have. How I will implement music or anything else for that matter into my game. Trying to come up with a medieval, it's like, get distracted. So there's AI, there's music generators, right? AI music generator. I don't know. I don't even know. Can you even do like a sample? That's free. Continue. Make your music idea real. All right, continue. Create songs inspired by a reference. Enter the song title and click Write About. Generate random lyrics. No. Okay. Describe the music style you're aiming for. Record a melody idea to kickstart your song section. Do I want? Enter the song title and click Write About. Make your music. Shape your music using text or audio prompts. I have no idea how this is going to work. Let's try this. Flash of teams. It does. This is going to be so bad. I don't know if I want vocals. All right, I don't know. I mean, the look is fine. I don't know. I don't even know what to expect. Sing your song with any voice you like. Sing your song. I mean, I have to sing the song. It's like describe the music style you're aiming for. Your song title, click right about generate, make your music idea. Reference, create songs inspired by a reference track. Nope, I'm just gonna let it go. I have 0 credits. It said free, so let's see if this actually works. I don't know. I'm about to find out what this does. Wow. Doing some stuff. I probably have to do something else with it, like make it intro-y, maybe not have... All right, let's see what this does. I really shouldn't be doing this. I don't know why I get distracted by this stuff. Yeah, they're pretty good length songs.
On the field where dreams take flight, players run, their hearts alight. Passes swift, the ball flies high. 2 teams battle day by day. In this field we find our might. Through sweat and tears we shine so bright. Each step forward, a new fight. Together we stand, come what may tonight. The whistle blows, the game starts now. Strength and skill, they show no flaw. Passes crisp.
Okay, I gotta keep this. This is cool.
Step toward the crowd. With every play, we grow more proud.
It sounds a lot like a Pokemon intro or something, but
our bonds we found in this field, our dreams are sound. From the first touch to the final score, our hearts beat as one forevermore. No matter where life's path may lead, this field will always be a mecca. In this field, designed our might. Through sweat and tears, we shine so bright. Each step forward, a new fight. Together we stand, come what may tonight.
okay. Let's see how this one sounds.
On the field where dreams take flight, players run, their hearts alight. Passes swift, the ball flies high. 2 teams battle day by day. In this field we find our might. Through sweat and tears we shine so bright. Each step forward, a new fight. Together we stand, come what may tonight. The whistle blows, the game starts now. Strength and skill, they show no flaw. Passes crisp, The crowd cheers loud. Every move, a step toward the crowd. With every play, we grow more proud.
It's cool. In fact, I could see tweaking it. I think because the lyrics are kind of iffy at points, but now that I'm hearing them, honestly, I think I'd like to try to sing one. I won't do it online though. I do not have the self-confidence to do it online. I could see trying to do it. Can I download this?
Dreams take flight. Players run, their hearts alight. Passes swift, the balls fly high. Two teams battle day by day. In this field we find our might. Through sweat and tears we shine so bright. Each step forward a new fight. Together we stand from where we may tonight. The whistle blows, the game starts now. Strength and skill, they show no flaws.
See, they show no flaws. It's weird, right?
The crowd cheers loud. Every move, a step toward the crowd. With every play, we
Some of these are awkward.
Through the highs and lows, we're never bound. Our spirits rise, our bonds we found. In this field, our dreams are sound. From the first touch to the final score, our hearts beat as one forevermore. No matter where life's path may lead, this field will always be our Mecca. In this field, designed our might. Through sweat and tears, we shine so bright. Each step forward, a new fight.
So,
together we stand.
It's kind of cool, but did you notice how it skipped this whole chorus? Oh, I guess it says, and it just went, and then ran this chorus. But still, it's kind of interesting. So I can't download this. I have to buy. Oh, it was cool. It's cool, but I don't know, man. I could see playing with this for a while, but it's $8 a month. Is it weird to want to generate my music this way? I mean, I could see doing it. This is cool. I am actually impressed. It did a good job. I mean, I could see tweaking and playing with it a lot more. I just wish I didn't have to do like, see, $8 a month. I'd have to pay like, what is that, $96? I'd probably have to do a year. Just because I don't want to be like, oh no, it's just, I'd probably get a year, then cancel it, and then just have a year, or basically my 4,800 credits, which isn't that much. But so it's cool. I would probably play it some more if I could, but do you get any free credits? Is there any cool way to get free credits? Invite for free credit API platform. No, I guess there's not really it doesn't have a way to get free credits, but I am impressed by kind of how it works. And if I knew how to get some free credits on here, I would definitely try. And what else? I don't do X. I guess I could do Discord. Yeah, I like the idea that I could do something, because I'm trying to come up with something that's got a fantasy style, but yet fits the theme of the game. So coming up with fantasy style music is the key element, right? You got to have sound that plays in. Now, I may have to try to figure out how to do instrumental only, because there's going to be times when I don't want voice in the background. Maybe never. It's like, are there games that have, I guess you could kind of sort of have stuff going on at times. Maybe short little intros and outros that have voice, but I can't see. Huh. So I was talking to the one of the developers involved in Super Tiny Football, which is a lot like a more modern version of Retro Bowl. And I just, he comes around every now and then and chats sometimes when I'm online. And I also talk to him on Discord. I was asking him about the football dimensions of a game, the football field dimensions of the game, because when you put a bunch of players on the field, and you're trying to make them fit in this zone that looks good, trying to make it so that so your characters all look like you can kind of see them. But if you have them all on, you got to play with your angle a little bit. But ultimately, it's a long ways out for the furthest away players, right? Because the field is not that wide. If you're using the same aspect ratio of an actual football game, so an actual football field is 53 by 120, including end zones. And that aspect ratio, putting on a phone, no matter what, how you do it, if you're doing it with um, profile view or landscape view, you've got a profile view where it's a long ways, that gap, right? So you're looking at, this is the narrow area of the field and you got all your players on it. So you tip the field in one way or another so that you can see more players. So you kind of get a camera angle that zooms in at the right position so that you could see all the players all up and down the field. But when it's so wide, the players over here are still pretty far away, and a 3D aspect field is going to look like these guys are really small. The guys in front are still small too, because you got to get them all on there, and it's not that big of a change. But you're adjusting that angle of the camera, and I'm like, how do I get them so that they look decent sized? Well, the thing is, you could squish the field, right? Make the field not as wide. You don't get a full 53 by 120. You can make it narrower, giving yourself more phone real estate. You bring the players all in, and instead of 53, maybe it's 43. It's kind of like you're cheating to make it so that it fits on the screen better. Uh, Plus, I don't know, is it possible to do like a 53 and then distort? So it's still 53, but you're squishing, trying to get that appearance of full width. But yeah, they're taking up that space. But like your characters would look skinny or something maybe on the field because they're squished a little bit. I don't know how that would work. And 53 to 43 would be a lot, because what is that? That's 20% of your space. That's a 20% squeeze. That would probably look really weird. But even if it's down to maybe 45, I don't know. A 10% squeeze might not look so bad. So yeah, this is kind of cool. I don't know how I would implement it. Is there any free plan download? Free plan way to get this? Download commercial license, basic plan. Download MP3, basic plan. Download instrumental. Oh, you can only do instrumentals via the pro plan. I don't want a video. Restore, edit song title and cover. Do you have to do instrumental, or do you have to do it with vocals? Can you do it without words? Create a song from one line. Huh. I do think this is cool. It's fun, and it did a pretty good job.
stand, come what may tonight.
Guy sings pretty good. Let's play it one more time. I don't know if I like the.
On the field where dreams take flight, players run, their hearts alight.
See, this player who runs their hearts alight seems kind of weird.
Two teams battle day by day. In this field we find our might. Through sweat and tears we shine so bright. Each step forward, a new fight. Together we stand, come what may tonight.
Lot of "ite" words on. Light, alight, high, day.
They show no flaw.
Does seem kind of funny. High and day, might, bright, fight, tonight. Then now and flaw don't rhyme. Loud and crowd do. Proud, bowed, bound, sound, or score, more.
In this field, our dreams are sound.
I don't know.
From the first touch to the final score, our hearts beat as one forevermore.
This heartbeat is one forevermore. That's a stupid line. I was trying too hard to rhyme. Our heart's beat is one forevermore. They do? That's a football game. What? What are you talking about? Nobody
on the field where dreams take flight.
This is pretty good. I could see. I definitely would have to edit this a little bit. But I would like the instrumental. I don't know if I could. I kind of think an instrumental version. I don't know. I like the idea of building up something that's got an instrumental sound. I'll be right back. All right. So focus, Ken. Let's go. I was looking at OpenArt versus Sora because they're kind of the same company. OpenArt, I think, is OpenAI, but so is Sora, which is using ChatGPT. So it's, I think both of them are related. But I like OpenArt's setup where you can kind of put in a theme and kind of get on the right track right away, and you're not guessing. With Sora, you kind of have to guess. You can load things up and get a similar theme, though. So Sora is a little, it works pretty good, too, for that. Both are good. It's a good thing is, OpenArt, you got to pay for it right out the gate, right? Because you only get a certain amount of credits, and then that's it. You're done. You don't get to use it anymore until you pay for it. At least with Sora, you can get a few a day. All right. So I was working on hands. And I think I'm going to try to do this with a little assist this time. So I have these control modifiers, which, by the way, I don't think, I may end up pulling that out too. But for now, I have, I had it help me out with these. Where that dot go functions being, is there a voice thing on this one? Being, nope. implemented. This is using Claude, by the way. From what I understand, it uses Claude 3.7, which is what I prefer to use. This is Augment. I'm trying out Augment. Heard good things about Augment. I haven't decided if I'm convinced, but it's been doing okay. And I've only got a trial. I got about 12 days left on it. Figure imported. There's that go. Let me know which function. So I'm pretty sure I can get rid of these stats as float. Function. Get stats as float. Okay, so we can get rid of those. I need to clean this up. Get player total touches. I do have get player total touches. I don't know if I want to dump that one though, because I wanted to print it out. But I wonder if I could take these for logging. I need to come up with something to show that it's getting values back for all these guys. Calculate player skills. Go up here. Yeah, I'm not big on allowing the AI just to write things in. It's been pretty good for the most part when you hit apply, but I still get nervous doing it. It's just, there's something weird about letting it just write into my code. I've tried it and it's done weird things in the past, and so this is not going to be correct, but it's just changing the format so that it does work. Security. As I replace my other things, I've done 3 functions so far, and none of them were all that easy. Get back there. I do note that Augment is pretty fast. It does seem to be pretty quick coming up with answers. I've noticed that the agent for Quad 4 is really slow. Really slow. I mean, it does so much stuff, and it's like, what is it doing? Just look at what you need to do and move on, man. It is really slow. You could wait for a long time. Augment seems to get its answers quickly. Oh, okay. I guess that's fine. We need to make sure the player stat struct has the appropriate mappings for these additional stats. Here's how you would add them to. So the player stats has these mappings in it. I thought, nope, I was wrong. Okay, so see when it's gray like this, an augment, it has to be blue or it will not copy. Just saying. You can't right click either, which is really weird. Hmm. I know I calculated this already, so why is it not fully implemented? Go. Oh, I didn't realize this was actually quite dumb. Was I still working my way through this one? I thought I had this one calculated already. I feel like I thought I did this one already. Huh. All right. Well, maybe not. Maybe I thought I did, or I was working on it. Gonna be so many stats, which probably has all the wrong ones, but okay, are these ones already defined? Oh, these are already declared. What are you talking about? Player stats. Big plays, total plays, long plays. Big plays, total plays. Yeah, those are already in there. What are you talking about? All right, let's see if I have anything else that needs to be deprecated before I continue. We can get back to our task at hand. I didn't think I went this far up, but All right, so find status float, get player total touches. This is all third place. Find stat, get stat. I feel like there's more that's no longer necessary, but so my big play potential is not complete. Apparently, I have logic in here, but assuming this method exists, there is no interception TDs. I don't know what that is. So, or at least not called that. I would have to call it something specific, and then I have to go map it. So yeah, I guess I haven't done that. Let's go. There's yards after catch, yards per rush, skill, kick return, punt return. I was gonna do hands. I don't know why I'm doing hands, but I just feel like that's the one that's sticking out in my head. All right, so in order to do this one, I need to go to my formulas, and I have to figure out touches. So there's total touches, but I don't need total touches. I just need receptions. So we're gonna have to do something like, and there's different receptions. Player stats get receptions. So let's go to the implementation of this. And because get targets is not the well. Actually, that is a thing we need. It's going to be a thing we need because it's hands are determined partially by how many times you caught the ball upon how many times it was thrown to you. Now there are several things that take effect when you calculate that. End receptions. So get receptions is probably doing end receptions REC. But that's just I think I need to grab my formula here so that I can see it. Put it, I don't know, let's put it here. I'm gonna go like this. We're gonna it's nice and tiny. Paste it right there. So this is the formula. This is a formula of formulas. So this is actually going to read, and I have to reference each of these objects. So this is just the other columns in my spreadsheet. They all have calculations of their own. It's not really just what it says. It's like it takes into consideration a lot of different things, but I need to figure out how I want to have this happen in my hand skill. So I got to get total receptions. These are receptions at different locations, and then I have adjustments for those receptions, that whole thing. So, and then other targets, I think I actually, yeah, okay, I see. So we have total receptions is going to subtract some adjustment for BLS. And that's because the adjust wide receiver adjustment RECBLS is actually a modifier. I think I should have that modifier already loaded, but I gotta see what it is just so I get a feel for. That one is called the, let's see here. Pretty sure it's a W. It could be, maybe it's a modifier. It might be a modifier based in code though. Just to receive. Oh, okay. So they do have a calculation. Receive BLS mod. Okay, so that's the value I want. So the control modifier I want is going to be, first let's go ahead and get that. Let's go ahead and get our control modifier. Get control modifier. And we'll call it, let's say receives reception BLS. Control modifier. Don't know. It is an individual. Is that what it's called? I don't remember. Actually called. I may actually have to break out the control modifiers too, because I don't know if I like doing this like this. I like my control modifiers to be better defined. But we'll call this. Probably don't need mod. I think it's already a modifier. I don't need mod. And I don't, let's go see, make sure it's not called that, but it's modifiers, team, individual, and it's called reception BLS mod. Not really, doesn't need mod because it's a modifier. RES BLS. So I'm only giving them 1/8. That's a pretty tight modifier there, but I'm only giving them 1/8 of those because they're uncontested catches. Receivers should catch those all the time. You'll see that running backs have hundreds sometimes of catches behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe not hundreds, but 50 or 60, and they get them all. I mean, it's like their target catching is like 80%. Which would make them have fantastic hands, right? Because they would be able to be better hands than most receivers, which isn't really fair because they're not being challenged. So that's why I weight that in a way that they have some kind of resistance is basically the idea. It's not that's the mod reception BLS, and then be adjusted reception BLS equals mod times, then we're going to say player stats dot get receptions let's see, I have to go create this function because it doesn't exist yet. So I have to go, in order to get this value, I need to go back to here. We'll call this. We'll call get exceptions. This game stat. I think it's just REC. Call it receptions BLS. The reason I call it receptions BLS and not it doesn't map the table is because I have to go up here now and actually create a mapping for it. So if I go here, exceptions, BLS, this is individual, I believe. Oh no, the page is the key is REC, but category is the page name. I don't know why it's category. I I'm tempted to call it stat line. This is stat value. Stat line is like the full line of your stats, right? But the stat line title or stat line, I mean, category, I guess it kind of works, but it's different because every page is different. So yeah, it's kind of hard to It's kind of hard to do that one. Reception, BLS, WR receive. Oh, is that the name of my page? RECB. Nope. WRB. Oh yeah, WRRECBLS. All right. So this one's category is in fact WRRECBLS. And now if I want to reference this value again, I'll have it. And that's why I don't like category. Stat line would be a variety because there could be receptions, attempts, targets, blah, 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 blah. In fact, I think I will have a need for putting in targets on this as well. The reception BLS mod. BRB reception BLS. I'm trying to review my logic here, trying to figure out how. So, okay, so I have a lot of named columns. And the problem with this is they don't pop up where they're supposed to. So like a named column, I'd have to go what was it? WRRB target BLS. And I have a lot of named columns. And it's actually the ranges is what I'm using. It's kind of cool, but it's also kind of not great. WRRB target BLS. Target. Yeah. Okay, so that one is the one. Oh, I guess I could try to do that. I didn't think about that. I'm trying to figure out how to reference them without my I'm looking at my formula for pour throws. That one's actually pretty. So what's a poor throw? How is it used in this? Well, I give receivers credit for poor throws. In other words, I take it away from their targets. So if they're thrown to 5 times, let's say they're thrown to 10 times, and 3 of them are poor throws, which means it's not really catchable. it's not. It's like hit at the line. Uh, some bad thing happened to the ball on its way to you. That's a poor throw, and therefore the defender doesn't get full, or the receiver doesn't get full negativity out of it. Now there are drops. Drops are bad. Drops are the receiver blew it, so that goes against them for sure. Um, but sometimes they just, I don't know if it's always a drop. Though not every incomplete pass is a drop, but they're also not all bad passes. A drop is something like you should have caught that ball. It hit you in the chest. It hit you in the hands. It was just not catchable. So, like for example, I have a receiver here who has 71 times he was targeted. He only caught 50, but 10 of those were bad throws. They weren't all drops, by the way. The difference wasn't all drops. So it wasn't 21 drops or 11 drops, I don't think. I don't even know, where do I have drops calculated in here? I do have drops. I know that. BRM. Just the receptions per game. Dang it. Huh. Not. I'm just trying to figure out how to navigate my Excel spreadsheet here. And I don't have it on the screen. I apologize because it's too many things on my screen. Probably should share it. As I'm going through all of my formulas, trying to figure out how to transition them to Go, I need to have all of my stuff in here. How long have I been on? Hour and 16. I'm way over my limit for this stream. I wasn't gonna. I probably. And I haven't been working on the hands formula that long because I started off by letting myself be distracted. But I gotta figure this out. So we needed the reception modifier. We got the adjusted receptions, which is BLS. There's adjusted receptions. Which is really just all receptions minus what's my formula? Okay, so we got wide receiver receptions. Wide receiver receptions minus wide receiver receptions BLS plus wide receiver adjusted BLS. How is that different from just doing this thing? So I have this. This looks like the exact same formula here. It is. It is the exact same formula. Why aren't I using that? That's the question of the day. It is the right formula. Receiver. Don't yawn. Don't yawn, Ken. You're going downhill fast. Don't do it. And bring out the caffeine. The midday caffeine kick. Start. Ah, I know what the problem is. Let's get my music back on here. See, I got distracted by my cool sounds. That's playing? Is it muted? Oh, it is muted. Now, again, I don't know. I guess in the future, if you see that my screen has been silenced, you'll know that I shouldn't have been playing this. It says it's for study or blah, blah, blah. It's some random thing. And I don't know. If you create AI music and put it out there for people to listen to, is there a problem with that? Not copyrighted, right? You can't copyright your own music. It's not even your voice. You can't copyright a robotic voice. I mean, people say it's like, I could do that myself. Well, yeah, you can. Do you want to? You can go to AI and probably pay $8 a month, build up your own little music collection of AI music, and maybe even implement your own voice or your own sound effects, whatever you want, create your own music. You can do that, and probably even put it up and stream it. But you want to. You can't complain about somebody using AI to create some bunch of music that's already assembled and put together, and it sounds good enough to listen to, and you're like, well, I don't want to listen to this because this is AI generated. Well, if you do, is it because you don't like it or because it's AI generated? If you like it, and yeah, you could probably go do it yourself because it don't take a lot of skill to create it, but it does take time. I like this better than synth music, to be honest. And there's people out there creating synth music, which is fine, but it just sounds synthy. It doesn't, like, this sounds like a song, music, actual stuff going on. And I could see listening to this kind of thing more than listening to synth music. There's a lot of synth music out there. It's copyright free because people are just playing with their synthesizer and putting together a bunch of music. It takes time. It's cool. It takes effort to make it. But just, you just got to know what you're getting. All right, so we have that. Receptions per game mod. Balance rating with other players in the league based on time played. I'm looking at my. All right, let me share this. I feel like I should show you what I'm looking at. I have a bunch of formulas, and I'm just trying to review them and deduce them because I created these years ago, and I'm just trying to see how I assemble them. Not too hard, you just got to follow the path, follow the trail. Do a display capture here for now. Now this is going to be pretty small because I can only get so much stuff on my screen at once. All right, so this is the spreadsheet I'm using. It's small, I'm sorry, just what I reference a lot, and I want to be able to you know, so you can kind of know what I'm looking at. It's a bunch of formulas that are formulas within formulas, referencing sheets upon sheets of data, and they all meant to balance, adjust, tweak, create these stat values that you see right here. So all of these values here are the kind of things that I'm going to have in my game, and these are how they rank for all of these particular players that I have imported. And those come from a lot of stats that look like these here. This is the stats pages, and there's 53 of them. These are all downloaded from mostly from what used to be Stats Inc. It's now called Stats Pass or something like that. And you know, I paid for, I don't know, a month or whatever. And then I got me some stats. Now, there are a bunch of stats pages here, and each one of these stats pages is where I'm getting these values from. And then I put together what I generate as my own formulas for how these assemble, and what constitutes quality of what constitutes receptions. It's not all just straight up receptions, right? So I have hands, which it looks like, oh, all it is this. Well, if you go to any of these fields, it's actually a little bit more than just this. So this is the formula you see up here at the top, this guy. That is what I'm trying to balance, that -1 +2 thing. I'm not even sure what that is. Why isn't that just +1? I don't know. I'm looking at it going, why do I have a -1 +2 on there? Because there's no parentheses outside of this, so that means all the parentheses, the rounding, everything is happening in here. So why didn't I just do a +1? What I was thinking. I was thinking something. But each one of these guys, and this here is just these 3 fields, which are actually 3 additional fields of data, that some of them even go much further. So if I were to go to like what amounts to that receptions column you see there, I think it's this one. Yeah, see, it's like, that girl has a long voice. Yeah, you know, it's weird when you do that, it doesn't actually, what happens if I do this? Oh, there it is, okay. So this is the WRRB receptions, and it's actually its own set of formulas. In this case, it's just going to end receptions. So I think end receptions is a grand total of receptions. I want to say that there's something, this WRRBPRM is a special modifier that's defined around the complexity of your catches, as is BLS. So if I was to go here and go player stats, get receptions, I should get what amounts to this. And that comes from end receptions REC, which I believe is what it's doing. We'll go here. End receptions. Oh, drop target. And do I not have it? I have target, drop. Oh, end receptions REC. Okay, there you go. We do have it. I don't know what this is. I don't know what fallback path is. I think it's a way to kind of like give other options. It shouldn't. If things don't work, I need to know. And that's kind of where I have to make sure. Like here, if I was to actually go look end receptions REC, I have to find a player, and it's kind of a pain. So if I go to my stats import, oh no, sorry, source stats, and then I click on one of these. That is end receptions 2, capital I, but it doesn't. There's no end receptions, and every one of these I have to go down until I actually find end rushing. Why are some of these not in here? I think some of them might actually be. I think some of this stuff might actually be incorrectly imported. There's end receptions. Okay, so he has, Johnny Knox has end receptions, and then the values he is lowercase r, REC. So I would need to change that. And this is why I did it this way. So I could fix something and it'll work for everything that's referencing it. So it's capital I, capital R, lowercase r. And this is just how it got imported. And that's the way I need to reference it. Which is going to be interesting because I got to figure out how I'm going to get my source data. I may have to create other mappings just so that I can, maybe I can get better results in my data in the future. It's going to be fun trying to assemble all these stats from future polls. End receptions, REC. Go back here. End receptions, it's lowercase r. But other than that, it's pretty much correct. But we're good. So we go back to here now, and we get our receptions, and it's get receptions. Now, get receptions is the method that's going to pull from that, and I don't even have to name it because it's just what it is. That mapping you saw, the function that says end receptions or whatever, that's actually done within the method get receptions. So you click on it, just gonna go, oh, okay, well, I'll just get it from there. Now, if player stats is built off of a different source, like the in-game stats, it also can do it using that same value, except it'll pull from a different data source so that I can have in-game stats and regular stats functioning off the same methods. I can reference them no matter what, and it'll just pull it based on the scenario or the data source that I'm building it from. Okay, so in order for this to work, this is all of the receptions. That's essentially my first piece there. And then I got to do the receptions BLS, which is what this is. So we're going to go. I want to decide if I wanted to do plus adjusted receptions BLS. Let's go see what that one is. It would be reception BLS. And then we have adjusted receptions BLS. What's this one? Ingress BLS mod, which is that WRRB receptions BLS. What's this? is WRECBLS. All right, so let's go back to here and make sure this is set up correctly. WRECBLS exception 4. Okay, so we can go back up here again. And this time we do have this correct. And this is the adjusted reception BLS. Oh no, that's not the adjusted. That is, oh it is, because I have it already marked with the mod. That times that. The mod and the reception BLS. Alright, so that's the adjusted. Alright, so now we can go. What we're doing here is we're taking the total of receptions and removing the BLS, but instead we're giving them the adjusted BLS, which is, it's like taking all the receptions. I could have gone through every page and just added them up, the BLS, the 5 to 10, to 10 to 20, 10 to 30, 40, whatever. But instead I took all of them and just said, look, we're only going to give them partial credit for BLS catches. And instead of taking all of them and adding them all up, I just took the total of all of them and subtracted BLS and gave them the adjusted, which is still using their BLS, but it's only giving them a fraction. So any tweaks or adjustments that I do, okay, so any tweaks or adjustments I do later will tweak that BLS if I feel like it needs to be more or less credit, or maybe, if I want to just make things way a little different. So now we can start adjusting. So we're going to have our receptions, and we have to go minus player stats dot get reception BLS, and then we're going to add the adjusted BLS. And this would get our, we'll call it the adjusted receptions, which is exactly what I have. Okay, this is adjusted receptions. It should be lowercase, so should that, anything like that, A. Or consistency. Adjusted receptions, and then this should be lowercase a. I don't use adjusted receptions just yet, but we're getting there. So we'll take that adjusted receptions, and then the parts I need. So if that's adjusted receptions, we're not scaling yet, divided by adjusted targets. So I have to, adjusted targets is kind of the same. I believe adjusted targets is also, adjusted targets is taking care of the BLS. It gives them only so much credit for the targets. I do have kind of a weird modifier here. It says 0.25. I'm only giving them BLS targets 0.25, which is a quarter. I'm only giving them credit for a quarter of the BLS targets. But the interesting thing is the receptions. I don't know why I have that hard coded. I shouldn't. But the receptions is using a BLS mod of 0.125. So if I go here and you can see the end reception BLS, that's 0.125. That's only an eighth. So they're only getting an eighth of the credit for their BLS catches, but only being credited with the actual targets are only being reduced by 0.25, which is weird. I don't know why I'm doing that. So if I'm only giving them partial credit for their targets or for their BLS, I think it's because I believe it's probably because they're adjusted targets. Oh, I probably need to get their targets for one thing. Let's just go get targets. Back over here, right? That's the first piece I need of this is the targets. Which, okay, get targets. Let's go see if it maps correctly. Oops, no, wrong one. Targets, I don't need this. The value is going to be end receptions. And this one is, it's taking guesses because things are, and it's like, it's not my fault. This is just the way it came in. Sometimes it comes in as abbreviation. Sometimes it comes in as a full word. I don't know why. Like, if I go to my actual stats page here, and I'm just copying the ones as the formula identifies it, but we got end receptions, end scoring, end receptions. Okay, so we go end receptions, and it's target. They were targeted 15. It's a whole word. Sometimes it's whole words. Sometimes it's two words. Sometimes it's an abbreviation like PCT. You get PCT for the short, but then you have things like poor throw instead of PT or pass def. But these are the calculations that are involved in determining what's a drop pass, what's a poor throw. In theory, they should add up to about the same, but they aren't considering incompletions can be credited to poor throws, passes defensed. Now, how do you deal with that? Is it the receiver's fault that a pass was defensed? Generally, no. That's generally the quarterback's fault, right? But a good receiver can fight for those balls, right? Sometimes. So do you give them any kind of credit or discount? Do you give them some kind of? Do they get any blame for the defense for the passes defensed? I guess it depends on how those are calculated, and I really don't know. If they're like, this is just so defensed. The defensive guy was totally in the way. There was zero chance. Is that a pass defense, or is it one of those? He got his hand in your face, or in your hands, and you just didn't catch it. It was catchable. You didn't fight for the ball. You weren't able to hold on to it. Whatever. Is that a pass defensed by the NFL standards? I don't know. Let's go see if there's any known knowledge in the NFL. What constitutes. What is the definition of a pass fenced? With a path made uncatchable by the defense, or could it include passes simply not caught and the defender had his hands in the NFL, a pass defense statistic is recorded when a defender actively disrupts a pass attempt by making contact with the football, causing it to. Deflections, when a defender gets a hand on the ball, altering its trajectory. Knockaways, when a defender swipes the ball out of their. However, simply being in the vicinity of an incomplete pass does not count as a pass defense. The defender must physically affect the ball to earn credit for this stat. Okay, so they have to physically affect the ball. So do we blame? I almost still feel like the receiver should get some blame for passes defense. Not total credit. Total credit means we won't count those targets against their receiving skill. So if you were targeted 20 times and 5 of them were pass defensed, I would, to give them full credit for that, that's 15, that takes 25% off, and now they're only getting 15 targets against their reception completion rate. So if you completed 10 out of 15, 10 out of 20, and 5 of them were defensed, if I give them full credit, it's 10 out of 15. Poor throws, you take out another 2 because maybe that's what it is, and that drops it to 13. So now you're 10 out of 13 on your catches, which is pretty good. Theoretically, drops, I don't know what the heck is a drop. Oh, drops per attempt? I don't know what that is. I don't know. There's a drop. I don't know what a drop per attempt is. There's some big numbers there, though. I assume that's attempt. I don't know what that is, because they only drop 2 passes, right? But they have a drop ATT of 13.3. I don't know. Aaron Brown. I don't know what that is. So, I mean, it was like, I really wish I knew what this is. Stats by status. Let's see if AI knows what that is. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's passed. Was a stat for receivers of drop, receiver, ball, and a stat of drop ATT. Any idea what ET is? Percentage drops per attempt, meaning it calculates how often a receiver drops a pass relative to their total targets. When a receiver fails to catch it, well, that's a 13.3% of their targets. Does that work? 16.7. So it's a It's what's bad about this logic is it says drops per attempt. That's what a slash is. It usually means per, right? So ATT. You can't have 13.3% or 13.3 drops per attempt. It's an invalid statement. What it should be is drop percentage. How many drops have you dropped? What percentage of your catches are drops or targets per drop? You could say target / drop, and that's like, and that would be some amount of how many targets are you dropping. Now this is, I guess, a percentage, so you're not dropping 13.3, but you're dropping 13.3% of your targets. It's actually quite a bit. Look at this Amon Green, man. He dropped 20% of his targets. He was dropping the ball a lot. Dude, he only dropped it once, but he was only targeted 5 times. I thought Amon Green was a running back, so he didn't get very many general passes, which is interesting because wasn't Amon Green a pretty he was a pretty big deal in Green Bay for a while. Maybe he was an injured year or something, because somebody like Amon Green, I would have thought had more. I mean, he only had 5 passes to him, but apparently not very many long ones. Are those even behind the line of scrimmage catches too? So there must have been a lot of BLSs. Probably doesn't work out too well for him either. Why would the heck would the Browns? Why would the Browns trade for another quarterback? They have so many QBs right now. What are they saying? They're not impressed by the guys out there. Why would you even? I'm distracted. What was I looking for? Let's go back to what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, let's get rid of this thing. I'll say these are broken. I'm gonna have to calculate those. I don't think I have that information. They're certainly not. Certainly not in that format. I'm gonna finish this. I am gonna finish this. So we have it's still working.
see the closet dream fairy of fantasies will dream. He of that fighting past and dreams
Go
still
back to my calculations here.
together.
So we have that divided by adjusted targets, which I'm still trying to figure out fully how that's assembled. Let's go get that. All right, so we have to pull together the targets, which means we have to pull together my get targets. All right, I do have a get targets. Let's make sure it's set correctly. Get targets. Targets. Lowercase t. Coming from the targets, which is here. End receptions target. Okay, so we have the end receptions target, which is what we wanted. Minus pour throws, which I don't think I have on here. I do not have that. It jumped in there, figured out what I wanted, but I didn't have that. Okay, I'm making sure it didn't exist. All right, so that one's coming from end receptions. Fourth rows is actually from end receptions. And then over here. I call it pour throws. Player. And I don't even know if I created that. It drops. Get rid of this guy here. Reception and that guy there. All the mapping, that's the fun part here, right? All these things have to be mapped out correctly so that I can actually pull. And I don't even know which stats I'm going to be using all the way through. I could probably have 100 some different stats. They're going to come from all kinds of different pages and stuff. And I still got like another 10 skills to go. Fourth rows to player. Yeah, I guess. All right, so now we have. We'll try and work on the adjusted targets. Minus the LS. So I got to figure out, okay, so I have the I'm gonna have to do like an adjusted targets BLS. Adjusted targets. Not a thing. Get targets minus there. Gonna call it. It's BLS. Yeah, let's just take this. Adjusted. All right, I think we're good. I just need to create this function and create this thing. We got to go over to here. We will have reception BLS. Yeesh. Can't get it to do. What the heck? There, that's what I want. Target BLS. I don't know why I'm so determined to make that work. I don't know why I'm doing a quarter and 0.125. I'm only giving them credit for an eighth of their catches, but only crediting them a quarter of their behind the line of scrimmage targets. I feel like I should just reduce both of them by the same amount, to be honest. But yeah, I'm trying to decide. You just call it like BLS reception modifier, and then just give them 0.25. Behind the line of scrimmage. The problem is here's the problem. It's a high percentage thing, right? So if you got a guy who's caught 100 passes beyond the line of scrimmage and a guy who's caught 100 passes behind the line of scrimmage, if you give the guy who's got no contest most of the time, most of his catches are just easy to catch, and the guy out there is dealing with defenders and running routes and trying to get himself open, he's working harder, he's doing better, he's proving that he's got, he's using more receiving skills. So is that's why I only gave him like an 8, because I feel like, well, running backs are not receivers, and they're the ones catching all those BLS, receptions. And so I don't give them a ton of credit for what they've done, and it does lower their overall catching. But I'm wondering if I should adjust everything. And honestly, the reason I probably only give them a quarter of the target deduction is because they still get bad passes and all that other deductions to increase their percentage. By taking away a lot of the receptions that are behind the line of scrimmage before I adjust to their passing or their hand skills, it makes it a little bit more where wide receivers tend to have the best hands, because we're not just giving it to the... Now, if a running back runs a lot of passes and routes that are out beyond the line of scrimmage, then that's fine, and they're going to get full credit for those. But the idea here is that they would not get full credit for BLS catches. And I'm trying to decide why I'm doing it with a separate value. That's the only thing. Because I feel like maybe I shouldn't do a separate value there. I should just call it like BLS reception mod. I think I'm going to do that. Just use the same one. I feel like it should be consistent. So if I'm taking away, I mean, we're going to just drop the total number of everything. Because it's not like they didn't catch the balls. They were just easy, so we don't count them. Yeah, all right, we're going to do this. BLS, reception. Receptions. Keep going away. So they just do. This is the one I want to take away. Over to configure here. Instead of that, we're just going to call this we'll use the same mod for both. All right, so now I got to create a get targets BLS. Here. That's probably going to be on the same page, I'd imagine. This one is TGT. It's never, there's no consistency. All right. Then, as we inch our way through this, we got to go back again. And we got the fourth rows, which we're already calculating. Adjusted targets. What? Adjusted targets. It's the WRB. So we got targets minus fourth rows, which we don't have in there. Supposed to be target. Yep. And player stats minus fourth rows. Minus BLS times, so that's the adjusted targets. So it's supposed to be minus adjusted targets. So we have our player stats, targets, minus the fourth rows, minus the target adjusted target BLS, which will give us a better representation against running backs to wide receivers. And then we have adjusted receptions, which we already calculated, we just aren't using it yet. So we have adjusted receptions, adjusted targets. We could, I guess, theoretically just put this value in. It doesn't have to be a variable since I'm not really using it anywhere else. Pretty simple variable. Now drops, I'm not even sure how I'm calculating in drops. I mean, does it matter? If it's an incomplete pass, it's a drop. I mean, I guess, like, one of the things I don't have on here, my adjusted receptions or adjusted targets, is I don't have passes defensed on here either. Fourth throws, target BLS, that's adjusted targets, and I have adjusted receptions. receptions has. This is just straight stats. These aren't calculated at all. I mean, I think drops are important. But what is a drop compared to a poor throw? A poor throw, right? Let's see what it says here. Well, it was deemed catchable, whatever deemed catchable means. Hits them in the hands, hits them just whatever their logic is. It's okay, it's a drop. To me, it's a more significant mistake than I it's interesting. The drop rate might be kind of important. It's like that could be like a penalty on your hand skill. You got a really high drop rate. Yeah. It still comes out to being how often you catch the ball, right? I feel like I guess you have to decide what. I'm trying to think, how would I calculate drops in this game? Okay, so when they fail their catch attempt, right? But it might be a challenging catch. Like maybe it was kind of in a bad spot, or, I got to decide how that passed. Because I already have a calculation that determines where the ball goes in relation to the receiver when it's thrown. Certain kinds of catches might be more difficult, and it's not really a drop if they miss. I mean, like, you had to dive for it. Is it a drop if he misses a dive? No. I mean, really, players don't get that many drop credits. I mean, you really think about it. There's 2, 3, 4 drops, but a lot of times there's a lot more incompletions than that. A lot of times it's the quarterback's poor throws, but it could also just be that it could be poor throws, defensed, any number of other object problems. So I have this other field that's part of my logic calculations. This. Oh, then I have some scaling. Okay. Pass reception mod balance rating with other players in league based on time played. So we have our adjusted receptions and adjusted targets. We're trying to calculate our receptions. We have that divided by adjusted targets. But then we just have to come up with a WRPM PRM, which is this. And then we're scaling it on 0. Never actually, I didn't realize I scaled on 0. I really need to figure out how to get me some I don't know how to generate some test numbers. I don't know how to do this. Go doesn't make that easy to generate test numbers. If I want to test my formula, I have to get some way, I have to push values through to these formulas of mine. So I almost got to make generic, I got to find numbers and plug them in and make it, you know, just throw me out some results. Tell me what my calculations are. Which I could probably do because I have numbers right in front of me here that I could just throw at it. But I have to go in and create a bunch of dummy test values. So there's this app. It's online. It's called Go Playground. And you could just drop a function in there. And then you just call it a bunch of times with different numbers. And I would have to figure out how to... Like, I couldn't drop this exactly the same. I'd have to create a function that uses the same pieces. And instead of being all of my objects, I have to pass in the actual values. And so I basically build a mimicking function to see what kind of numbers I get. And we'll see how close I can come to the actual values generated by Excel here. And I think that's what I'm going to have to do here. Because right now, it's really hard to test this. So let's go to this, let's go to the Go Playground. So if I want my function, I have to do something like here, just take, and it's going to be basically converted into why didn't I take the whole thing? The whole thing. So this mod is 0.25. It's hard coded because I know where it's coming from. 0. Now this is where I need to have like values. Which I'm going to lie to it. We're going to call it RECBLS. BBG, BLS. Why do I have this? Oh, I see it. Okay, so no, that's fine. This is wrong. This would be a plus adjusted targets PLS. This is already wrong. This is plus. And like this one up here, I have to subtract the this value. Because that's total targets, and I need to subtract the BLS before I can add the adjusted targets. Exceptions and targets. Total BLS targets. Exceptions. Targets must be subtracted. Or adjusted. So there we go. We'll have that. I just need to say what I'm doing, so I look at this later and go, why did I, what? And I don't have to refigure it out. So we're going to have reception BLS, target BLS. Let's say fourth rows. Total targets. Total receptions. And then so this is target BLS. And this is reception BLS. Whoops, I did that backwards. Reception. Honestly, I should probably just do I don't like it if I'm calling it twice. If I have get receptions BLS twice, I should just get it. REC BLS equals, and then we'll do this. This. Less clunky. BLS. Rows here. Target up there. Receptions put there. Now I have a testable function that's basically doing the same thing as that one up to that point. Now you can see I don't actually have I don't have a final value yet, but I'm getting closer. And as I finish that, I'll build that into the second part of this, which will allow me to say, okay, this is the hand skill that we're going to return. And we're going to see how many of those come out kind of sort of close to what it should be, basically the same, except I'm using a 0.25 instead of 0.125 across the board on targets and receptions panel and scrimmage. So it's going to be a little bit different. But I could also tweak it, change it, adjust it if I want to, based on different scale values and such. So having got my adjusted targets in here, I also have my adjusted receptions in here. Then we have to get this WPRM, which is going to be my. So we have to do this. We have to go adjusted. Hey Karama, how you doing? N.N to you too, man. Receptions, receptions divided by adjusted targets. gonna be home. We're gonna call this my, what is this, my skill? I think we're getting to that point, skill value. Sure, we'll call it skill value. All right, so we're getting there. We're gonna take this value. We'll just put it on there. I'm gonna dump all this because I don't know what all that stuff is. That's just stuff the AI made up. Now we are not fully there. I gotta still do my WRRB PRM. What that is it's actually another kind of complicated piece, but essentially it's my pass reception modifier, and it balances the players against each other within the league. So it's gonna give them all like if they have a different amount of play time or play logic, it's going to consider all that. So let's say one player has 10 receptions per game and another guy's receiving 1 reception per game. The 1 reception guy didn't catch as many, wasn't as productive. He's going to have a PRM that's lower, and that's going to actually affect how much credit they get for their success. So simply catching 1 or 2 really passes says that it's not saying really that they have bad hands, which it will come out to look that way. It's basically putting them in their place on the bench. It's saying there's a reason why this guy was not in all the time. He only played so many hands. Yeah, he caught 2 passes, but he caught 2 out of 2, 100%, and they were good plays. Maybe he got a lot of yards, whatever it is. But he only caught 2. So he's not as good as it looks compared to a wide receiver who caught 80 out of 90 or something. That guy must be a lot better, even though he wasn't 100%. But he played a lot more. There's something about why he was in versus why the other guy wasn't, which proves that his skills aren't what they appear to be. So you have to water down his success because of the simple fact he just did not play that much. And that must be why that hidden information is what you have to derive from the skills or from the stats. You're taking those stats and the stats are saying this, and you're like, yeah, but look, he also didn't play very much. So there's a reason why he's not considered great, because he caught these 2 passes. So he may have just been filling in for somebody. They were easy catches. Who knows? But there's a reason. So I have values that balance everybody out, and I have to take those values now and actually calculate them. Now, the way this value is, I'm going to call it PRM, pass reception modifier. Call it PRM. I don't know what I should call this. PRM equals. And this value does use the adjusted receptions. So we have adjusted receptions. Oh, no. Nope. Why did it? Adjusted receptions. Divided by, what is it, math? Dot. Is that a math? This should be, oh, this is a stat. What stat are we pulling? Oh, adjusted targets? Alright, I gotta make sure I'm reading this one right, true. Oh, it's getting the max. It's getting the max stat from all the players. See, I can't read that way. But what I can do is set a control modifier that'll do that. It's probably not good to rate them against the current season anyways. I may have to do a control modifier that's like So we got max adjusted targets. So if I have adjusted targets max, what is the max here? The adjusted targets. Let's do a data, and we're going to sort on this. Sure. Here we go. Adjusted targets. Adjusted targets. Largest to smallest. 132. That's a lot of targets. How many catches did he make? 123. Wow, that's what is the record for catches in a season by a wide receiver? Wes Welker? Seriously? The filter. Oop. Oh yeah. Really way to this one. $132 targets. 123 receptions. What is the record for receptions? Can't be much higher than that. What is the record for receptions? Go look. The record for receptions in a single season. $149. Wow. 2019. Huh. 45. Marvin Harrison did 143. Okay, well, it is a lot. 2002. Marvin Harrison. I remember Marvin Harrison. Cooper Kupp. That's recent. Who's Cooper Kupp? Los Angeles Rams. That's right. Okay. I mean, not who, but I mean, who did he play for? All right. So I think I want to actually scale these off of a max. Like, what is great? This, because remember, the whole point of the game is to allow for me to balance players against players from forever. This way, if you get a 2025 guy, his stats go up against the 2002 guy. It has to be some amount based on per game, because if you go by season, that doesn't play out as well, right? So if you got to average per game, because some seasons have more. Like we have 17 games a season now. You know, a couple of years ago it was 16, and it was 16 for a while, but you go back and try to put a 70s guy in there. Well, that's not fair because there was only 14 games. And I think there was even a point where we only had 12 games. So it's got to be a per game average, which I will use. And I'm pretty sure, I think my logic on here is actually using a per game average. That's how I was coming up with this logic here. So yeah, it's WRB games played, adjusted targets. So it's the max adjusted targets. Oh, and then we do it. Why are we doing times though? Receptions per game mod. Oh, I do have a modifier for receptions per game. What is the what am I using that? What is that? Called what? I don't know what it's called because it's not there, but receptions per game mod. Oh, is that a calculated value? The WRRB. I think that's a calculator. WR, or it might not be a calculator. WRB reception per game mod. Reception for game mod. Oh jeez, was there really right next to me? It's like it would have been obvious to figure that out. I don't know why. Okay, so that one is actually using receptions divided by games played, and it's a scale value based on the max. But individual receptions per game. So what is 149 divided by 16? Alexa, what's 149 divided by 16? 9.3125. Yeah, I'm gonna create a mod for that. We're gonna call it a modifier. We're gonna go no per game here? Okay. Punts per game, league minimum kicks, minimum kick attempts. Receptions per game, 8? That's actually not a good number. I don't know why I used that. Probably because that's what I was using in the league, but honestly, that's not a good number because the record is 9 point something. I already forgot what that number was. What did you say? 9 point whatever. 149 divided by 16. 9.3125. Now, I need to put a cap that says this is the record. I mean, honestly, I want to put it at a point where nobody has yet reached it. And at some point, I may have to move that cap if somebody actually hits it. But I'm going to hit it. I'm going to put it at 150. Somebody will always be near the cap, but nobody should ever be at the cap. So if somebody ever breaks a record that I'm using as a mod, I have to adjust the mod, which will adjust everybody's stats. Everybody in the league it'll be an adjustment of their stats because everybody gets rescaled against the new level. And I don't want to go too high, but the record is 149. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, 10 receptions a game is insanely high. I mean, 9 point whatever the heck it is. So I'm thinking I don't even know. I don't want to go too high because 155 might even be too high because you're scaling people who only caught 5 times against them, right? So that's going to be a tough scale. And so I don't want to go too high. Let's go 155. It's divided by 16. I hope this doesn't scale people too weird. So we're going to call it 9.6875. Which is more than the current record. This allows for some guy to have just this amazing year and catch nearly 10 passes a game. I mean, yeah, it's possible. I think this is one of those records I think is going to hold for a while at 149. And I don't know. That's going to be a tough one to swallow if that ever gets beat, but I think we're good. Receptions per game, running back, tight end. Oh, I actually have running back, tight end receptions per game. Wonder why I have that. Is it just to make it so that they're not so outscaled? Because they're going to be pretty outscaled. That's true. I don't know. There's some pretty high-end tight ends, though, who've done a lot of receiving. Record for most receptions is 116 by Zach Ertz. For running back, the record is 116 by Christian McCaffrey. Well, there you go. So let's say 120 divided by 16. Let them have a shot at a record. And I'll do the same thing. I'll scale it according to that, just in case when I get around to having that. 120 divided by 16. 7.5. Oh, I already had 7.5. There you go. That's what I was using. All right, so back to the logic. Get my PRM down. We can go back here. And we want to get receptions per game. We're going to use this value instead of trying to calculate the max. Which is adjusted receptions. The max of adjusted receptions divided by games played. Which is what I'm figuring out here. Which is going to be the max. And then we're going to scale them against each other. Now, scale value I don't think uses built-in numbers, so I could probably just copy that one in if I wanted to use it. So I have a scale value. Value to max. Okay. Oh, scale value to range. This is the one I want. And we will put this over here in the playground. Playground really doesn't have very much visible area, does it? Gotta squeeze that puppy in there. All right, so now, man, this is taking me way longer than I expected. I wanted to finish this one and then stop and do an afternoon session, but and this is the thing. I probably wasted 40 minutes doing other things. I actually, I don't know, you weren't here, Karama, but at the beginning of this stream, I went to a music AI site and generated a thematic game song, I guess, for my game. And it's pretty good. Some of the lines are kind of funky. You can tweak them and adjust it if I wanted to, but I need to, I'll probably play with it more. There's gonna come a point where I have to go play with images and music, and then I'll pay for those things and dive into them. I'm not doing them too much right now because I don't want to be distracted by that. I got to get all my code and everything in place. I can worry about music and sound effects and all that stuff once I'm in that stage of stuff. But in the meantime, we'll continue to work along here. $8 a month isn't terrible, but you do got to pay for a whole year. It's $96. So hopefully one of my Indiegogos or Kickstarter. I may if Indiegogo when I launch this next time doesn't do very well, I'll probably launch on Kickstarter next time, just to try something different. So my goal here is $12.39. I got to keep plugging away here. I got to finish this one at least. What is this? Oh. All right, so we're gonna do calculate and skill, and we're gonna go reception BLS, which is 6. You know what? I am going to put in player name just for this purpose. Name. Alright, we'll just go. And just because I want to have an idea who I'm putting in here. We're going to go. Oh, you know what? I need to, I didn't even think about it. And target BLS 30. And fourth rows 23. Total targets. And 62. Total receptions. And 23. All right. And then we got to put in at least someone else. How about Steve Smith? So they're 9 and 8 respectively. That's pretty close, honestly. But it's a little bit different here. So we got receptions. Reception BLS, which is 15. And we got target BLS, which is 22. We have 4 throws. 43.6. Okay, wait a minute. How do we get 43.6 4 throws? Oh, it's not a straight up number. This is a calculated 4 throws. 4th row, edit line, passes defense. Oh, so this is I gotta. This is not really a poor throws. This is a. Is a. What do you call that? It's not like. They're not poor throws. It's a poor throw category, but it's really a lot of things. It's a number of things. It's got balls hit at the line, which is kind of a poor throw, but it's also defensed. Poor throw is just like he totally was off target. And then there's passes defensed, which is different. So we got to have like let's see. All right, so I have to go back here. I'm gonna go here, and then are we already on this page? So we have our receptions, we have our targets, but I have poor throws, which is not. I could calculate poor throws, but it's not even a good name because it's not truly poor throws. It's excused or excused targets or exception targets. Minus we're gonna call this different. Call this adjusted. No. I want to say excluded. Let's call them excluded targets. Excluded targets. There we go. That'll be good. And then we create this method. But I think I'm going to create it over here as part of my player stats. I have a function in here called get total touches. We're going to call this one function yes player stat excluded targets. Not really. It's and then we just have to go in here. We're going to say nope. Not going to drop. Not going to exclude targets. We'll get it targets equals es dot rows plus es get not poor throws. We want to get passes defensed. Passes defensed. And then this guy. What else did I have on there? Oh, hit at line. plus yes dot get boost hit. All right, so now we have to go down here, find get poor throws. Defense. And hit it line. All right. Back up here. We're gonna have this defense 10 hit a line. All right, but those aren't going to be the names. I know that much. Hit at line is going to be end receptions. Oh, that's good. So are hit passes defense, but their names are called hit at line. That's not a thing. Pass def. Okay, so this is supposed to be pass def. Oh, it is actually pass def. Well, that one figured it out. Sometimes it does get lucky. All right. So we got our passes defensed. Now, knowing that that's the math for how I'm actually getting this value, I can put in the actual numbers that I want to put in on the other as the calculator. But, oh, I think somebody bought a car and it's being delivered to them right now because there's a big old truck just pulled out with a bunch of cars on its hitch. Right at my front, right in my front of my house. They're all nice new cars. Pretty cool. I don't know what they bought because there's a variety of cars on it. All right. All right, so let's go back to my Google. Actually, let's go back to my formula. So we got excluded targets, and then we have minus target BLS and plus target BLS. Okay. So now we have my full that. Now we have to go back to figuring out my BRM. Was adjusted targets, adjusted receptions. Could be a little bit more explicit with this. Reception modifier. Modified or adjusted yield. So we have our adjusted targets. It's just my new value, the max value you can have. Games played times game played times receptions per game mod. Divided by just the receptions. Individual receptions per game. What is that? And receptions per game. Where is that? Is that the value? Is that the mod value? And receptions per game. Okay, so this PRM is kind of throwing me off because it's got some weird, what was I thinking kind of stuff going on. Because it like, we have a receptions per game mod. Which is our adjusted receptions divided by our games played. And then we're scaling that value based on that. And then we're rounding it up to whatever, divide by 2.5. I don't know why I'm doing that. But we're scaling it out 3, dividing by 2.5. And then we take that number and we do it again. We got adjusted receptions. Hold on. I gotta check something. All right, I'm back for the moment. We have one upstairs, one downstairs, and my chocolate's full. Okay, let's see if I can get this thing working. So I'm really, these players have basically what has a per game mod, and I'm trying to figure out how that works. And then it's scaled against everybody. So nobody gets a full percent. The idea is the PRM is supposed to be like less than 1. That's kind of what the whole thing is. It's a fraction. But I'm not sure why we have to scale on the current season. That's using the mod too. Per game mod. Doing some scaling is all it's really doing. Let me figure out why we're doing it this way. The receptions per game mod. Adjusted receptions divided by games played. Kind of what I did here, which I don't know how to spell though. Scaled receptions. Adjusted receptions divided by games played. And we're doing a max of that and 1. I think the objective there is to allow players to be above what I'm thinking. It must be allowing them to be above a point. But I don't understand why I'm doing that. Individual, and we're scaling. Why don't I just scale against the total value to begin with? I think it's almost like it's an unnecessary step. We're scaling the scale. And I divide by 2.5. Again, I don't know why I'm doing that. The numbers look good. I must have been doing stuff to trying to tweak to make everything land in a point. But what I really need to do is find out what this does when I just come up. How do my numbers come out when I'm done? It's nice to be able to see it here because this breaks it down for me and sees what's going on. And I can kind of say, okay, well, I see what it's trying to accomplish, but I'm not sure where some of these numbers. I mean, I know that the random numbers or the solid whole numbers are modifiers that I'm putting in. And I think even at the time I was thinking, this is to scale it because the number is going to be this big or that big. And we need to make sure that they land in this zone. There's no reason why I have to do it that way, though. I can force scale. I have a scale value calculator that I can say, okay, well, let's put them in here. I think the point is sometimes is like you do a divide by 2. You take a divide by 2 and then scale that, you're going to get better numbers. Because if you take like say I want to scale everything into a 10 and it goes all the way up, but the numbers go all the way up to 100. And you've got guys that are like hovering around a 5. So you cut them in half, and that puts them at 2.5, right? But you got a guy who's at 90, and you cut him in half, he's at 45. So now you're squishing a 2.5 into a 10, a 2.5 to 45 into a 10. It's a much smaller range, so the squish isn't as so bad. So if you do something else and squish it again, like say you squish it again, well, that 2.5 is now 1 3/4, and 1 1/4, and now your 45 is a 22. Now you're putting a 1 1/4 into 22 into a 10. Again, you're getting equal divisions. It's just that your gaps aren't going to be so big that when you squish them into the 10, that the bottom guys are like bottomed out at 1. You want the 1 1/4 is going to like, oh, all right, I feel it's going to shrink. It's going to go down to like, you don't have a bunch of guys who are squished into nothing. I think that's basically, it's the only reason I could think I was trying to do it. I was trying to think, let's not get these numbers so smashed that the bottom guys are like all lined out and only the top few are getting a number because the gap is so big and you have to give them a relative gap. That's all I can guess. I don't know. I could be totally off. I'm not sure why I did it, but I was dividing by these numbers to try to bring numbers into a range that I wanted to work with. So we're going to try and see if I can simplify this and do my PRM without like this. I do need this. So we'll take, basically we're going to take our receptions per game and scale it into the actual receptions per game. So we have our adjusted receptions, which is, then we have to go, let's do this. We're going to go adjusted receptions per game equals adjusted receptions divided by adjusted targets. And then we have our adjusted receptions per game going to be well, let's scale them. We're going to go, all right, so we're going to go scale to range. Scale value to range. And we're adjusted receptions per game. And what is our to get mod receptions per game equals control modifier. That's going to be the thing. I have an RBTE. I don't know if I'm using RBTE. I see it here. I see it there. I see it existing. I'm not sure why. I wonder if I did some weird, let's look, let's see if any of these, because like if I have this thing and it says individual receptions per game, I gotta go let my dog out just a minute. So we have our adjusted receptions per game, which is that. Scale value, we're going to use adjusted receptions per game as our scale. But I don't think that's, what does this have? Scale value to range. Why don't I see? What is it? Where's it at? Not here, right? Capital S. We're at the value that we want to put in there, and we're going to scale with the min value, which would be, we'll go with 0. Max value is going to be this thing, receptions per game. No, I probably just do something more straightforward than that. Well, maybe that's why I did it that way. Then you take the value that it is based on that scale. And okay, I think I know what's going on here. So this is the value we want. I was going to look to see if any of these guys are running backs. Oh, running backs, tight ends. Okay, let's look at this guy. RBETE. Let's see if this value is using RBETE. Nope, just receptions per game. I don't know when it uses that value. But we're just going to stick with this one for now. Visual. Receptions per game mod, max receptions per game. Go back over here. And max values. I have a min, but I could adjust the min if I wanted to. Value max values. Scale min, scale max, scale min, 1 to 10. And let's leave it at false for now. Scaled. All right, so that's getting my PRM, I think. We'll see. Is doing a adjusted receptions, which we have our adjusted receptions. Max of whatever the heck these stats are. Adjusted targets, I already divided that times games played mod, which is what I use, but I'm not going to do that. And we'll multiply this by the receptions per game mod. This one's not actually scaled yet. Well, maybe that's why, because I was scaling them in decimal points. I scaled them first and then multiplied by the value. I don't have to do 1 to 10. If I want to do this, I want to scale it on a max value of 1, if that works. And 0. That would be my PRM, or pass reception modifier. Pass reception modifier, pass reception mod. And then the skill value is actually me putting this thing times patch reception. Now we're going to put this on the end here. Okay. That, I think, is relatively close to the formula I have here. We'll find out in about half a second. I have a feeling it's not right. Because there's some weird things I have going on in this other thing. I'm not sure why it's doing all that weird stuff. But I'll make adjustments. But I wanted to make sure that we're getting to essentially the same value. So now I just need to plug in some numbers here and see what we get. So I gotta first convert these pieces into my logic. Do this whole piece at the bottom here. Oh, I may already have that stuff. Let's go. And take it back out here. Place all that nonsense. Okay, just receptions divided by adjusted targets. We will call this, we're going to change the name of this because I don't like it. Excluded rows. Should be pretty close to what I have. Let's see. We have excluded throws minus plus. Okay. And we have that. Now the scale to range is down here, so it should work. And got the mods. Adjust reception for game. Got the mod. Oh no, I'm missing this mod. I'm missing my new mod, which I think is like 9.6. We'll just stick in. I mean, that one uses 8. I wonder if I should use the same value. Let's use the same value just for the sake of seeing how it affects things. Okay. Well, here we go. Failed. All right, wait. Where's this comma supposed to be? 939. Oh, wait. What am I missing here on Smith? Smith, what are you missing? Calculate hand skill. 1, 2, 3. Excluded throws. Oh, 43.6. 43 point. I don't know how we ended up with 43.6, but okay. And we need to have total targets. It'd be 162. Wait, no, 171. And total receptions would be 101. Jeez. Dude. What did I do wrong? Too many errors. Undefined player. Oh, you know what? I think I need to identify what these are. String. Is that the, let's see if that fixes the float problem. Do can I do a print? How would I print? Do I need to do an import? I don't think you can do an import here. Pretty sure I can't do an import here. So how would I print? Probably can't. I guess I could try. Oh no, did I just delete all my stuff? Okay, so this is going to be a problem. No, think about that. I just got this going. So the Go Playground kind of sucks because you can't save anything, and it's going there. It just deleted the whole thing. I gotta go. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to revamp it, but fuck. Oh, there is an import on there of FMT. FMT is the print. Oh, because it used print. Suck an egg. All right, well, let's put it back. I get my test in, so I can't like not do it. Just know this Go Playground is don't delete anything. Don't run. Unless you're gonna put it somewhere. I should probably copy once I make these changes. Um let's go here, we'll say format dot print line. We'll say layer. It's totally not gonna work. Get rid of all this. Delete. ELS receptions. 225. One is DDLS. DDLS. Total targets. Total receptions. Included targets. Right, so I'm gonna try this again. Over. Let's try it again. So we have REC BLS 26. And dash N. What is N dash N? A different? I don't know what that one is. 26. Targets 162. Oh, target BLS 30. Total targets 162 and 123. Excluded targets 23. Do it again. This time it's going to be Smith. There's 26. His is 15. Instead of target PLS, we got 22. Total targets 171. Options 101. And excluded 43.6 for whatever bizarre reason it is. 43.6. Got a missing. Well, I'm missing a comma. Where's a comma? Oh, so I didn't like that. All right, so I thought maybe I had to identify that. Maybe I don't. Oh, I didn't finish putting this in player. I want to put in this fast reception mod. There, comma. There. Undefined player. So what am I doing wrong? I have player here, so it's not the problem. Doesn't like it here. Also doesn't like my doesn't like any of these things. All right, let's see if I can maybe I do need to put this in here somehow. String float 64. Maybe I have to do this in all of them. Player stats. Where's player stats? Oh. Oh. This is supposed to be total receptions. And this one is total. Excluded target. Down over here. Why can't I use mod? Oh. Hey, now it's just print line. Now I just have one little tiny problem. Undefined format print line. Did I spell that wrong? Print lowercase l. Case. Pass reception mod. Oh, but then am I not? Or maybe I need to print these. Print FME dot print line. All right, so we got values back. So there's a little bit of scaling issues. You can see that my mod here is saying it's 0.11 and 0.10, which do appear to be a little tiny, considering that my numbers are supposed to be 0.9 and 0.8. And they're hovering around there way lower than that. So that's a little bit of a problem. But I also kept adding numbers on these other things. Like I said, they're scaling on different numbers. That one scales on higher numbers. So we definitely have a weird thing. But we also have ultimate scale value of 0.098 versus 0.81. So yeah, we definitely have some scaling issues. The question is, which is my big problem? Because my hands, I believe, are supposed to be falling in the 8 and 9 range, and you can see they are 8 and 9 if you look at it, though. Really, they are 9 and 8 and 9. If I just multiply them by 100, which could work if that just is all I need. What if I scale these higher? What if I don't scale them on 0 to 1? What if I scale them on 1 to 10? What will that do? Seems not good either. That number's actually worse. That one's worse. My numbers are bigger, but they don't math out right. And this one was doing a 0 to 1 range, I think. So this guy is throwing off my numbers too much. But if I do something like times 100, And now we got a 9.8 and an 8.1. Now, if these numbers come out like I would see, this number feels like it's like it's going to have very minimal effect. Now, those two numbers are pretty close. I need to find some guys that are diversely different. I do have a 9.8 and an 8.1, which is fine to a point. So let's see here. Let's get some diversity here. These two guys are kind of close together. I mean, 0.91 and 0.87 are pretty small. It might be doing some inverting because that really is pretty close, because 0.11 is and 0.10 are pretty close to that. But I need to figure out a guy that's like completely. All right, let's try this guy. Let's see row 7. Who's 7? Roddy White. All right, I'll say white. Let's see how close this number comes out. Put in white here. We'll know when my numbers start to diversify how close we're actually coming. Interesting enough, too, I'm not scaling on any particular number, which is kind of interesting, too. I'm just taking the numbers as they are. But the scaling comes in that fact that I'm forcing the numbers into the same range as the all-time numbers. So whatever numbers I get, it's like I should scale it again to force my numbers to be within the range I want. Because right now, whatever they are, I could theoretically end up being somewhere else. So, I could go up to 10 or 11 or 12, and I may not want that. So I probably should scale everybody like on a 10 and then see where everybody's at that point. Oh, I didn't even realize this one does do a scale. And that's doing 1 to 11. I don't know why 1 to 11, but okay, so there is supposed to be one last scaling going on. That would make sense. I'll have to put that in. And that might actually push people into a different spot too. Let's do another one. So we're going to do row 7, Roddy White. His hands are supposed to be a 6. Let's see how close we come. $85. So his BLS is 15 and I'm sorry, his BLS is 0 and 0. We don't have any BLS. But he does have total targets, total receptions of 164 and 85. 164. Man, he had a lot of balls from him. He dropped a lot of them or didn't catch a lot of them, whatever that is. And his excusable throws, 51.2, it looks like. 1.2. Okay. What do we got so far? It's not too bad. He is at a 7, a low 7, so he's a full point behind those guys. And I haven't attempted to scale. I think I am going to force a scale on a scale of, what should I scale them on? It's a hand scale. I think I want these to be ranked in a 90 in a Madden-esque. So let's see 1 to 99. So we're going to go skill value. Go skill. equals scale value, range, and go adjusted, or actually we're going to go scale value. And the min, actually don't know what the min scale value is going to be. We'll say 0. And we'll say the max scale value is going to be I'd have to put in like Marvin Harrison's stuff to get the max, but the max scale value, I think I said 11. Let's just go to, actually, this doesn't really matter. I mean, we'll just say 10. And then we're gonna scale min and max. Scale min is 1, max is 99. And we'll just say this value. So if I was scaling these guys on a 99 being the best, Welker would have a 97.6. Pretty good year. Steve Smith would have had an 81, which is okay. White would have had a 70, which is higher than I would have expected. I'm hovering at the 70 zone. Now, again, these are fully scaled, so it's really just multiplying and doing what it has to get the numbers to stretch. Let's see if I can find let's find like a really bad hands. Guy who just had, I don't know, sweaty hands. So we're going to sort, yes. I'm going to go by hands. Go lowest to highest. We'll try a couple of these low guys. How about this guy? I, for some reason, decided he was a fast starter. Michael Turner with his terrible hands. All right, so we're gonna go Turner. He's only got a hand. He's got a hands of 1, according to this. Not a catcher. Not a guy who's supposed to be catching balls, I guess. What is he good at? Is he good at anything? He's still got a 5 salary, which is mid-range. He doesn't have much going on. He can do much. All right. Oops. Yeah, yeah. Let's line 16. Let's put this at the top. BLS is like 30 and 15. Targeted, really? Oh, he must be a running back. I'm gonna figure out, I don't remember how to do this on here. Trying to lock the top row. Somewhere in here is locking the top row. I have no idea where it is. Oh. Grid lines. I can just right click on it, freeze it. Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to do this. I mean, I know there is. I just don't know where. But freeze panes. There we go. Top row. Yeah, better. Okay, so I want to go look at 16. 16 would be. So 6 and 5. 6, 5. Oops. Apparently, I don't know the difference between those two numbers. We have, oops. Receptions are 5, probably 5 and 6. But you got more than he was thrown. 6. Okay. Now we have total targets 7 and 5. And how many excusable passes did he have? 2. Okay, so my balancing act didn't work. Because this guy has almost nothing. He should have like a 1 for hands. And it did not scale based on his... Did not scale correctly. Pass reception modifier. It's not... Because it ended up giving him a 99, which should not be possible. All right, I'm taking a break. I'm going to go